They researched all the successful people, mega successful people, and they found out. So welcome to September 2022 results meeting. How did we do last month?
Great.
Best month ever. Great. Yes. Let's give it up for ourselves. What did we end up with? Do you guys know?
466.
That's right. You knew that question was coming. Good job, Judith. Yeah, 466 right on the dot there. Okay, so this is our first time ever getting over the 450 mark, which is amazing. The last time, our best month ever prior to this was June at 414,000. After that, in July, we did 283,000. We took a real dip there due to the underwriting guidelines. We said that's not acceptable. And then in July, we did 283, which is low. And then August, we did 373. So just last month was 373. And now we got up to 466. So it's just incredible results there. And what did we talk about last month, like as far as our goals next year? 500. Eventually $1 million, right? But next year's goal was 500,000. Well, now I'm thinking, let's just do that this year. Because as great as that last month was, would you guys agree that we could have done better? So not only am I thinking, let's just do it this year, I'm thinking, let's just do it this month. All right, so that's the type of belief I have in us, and that's the type of excitement I have for our agency moving forward. So great things going on here, okay? One of the things that I will say that kind of maybe helped us with what happened here is, back in July, it was like, okay, underwriting guidelines are tough now. So what I'm going to do is sacrifice my income and just buy more leads for you guys, okay? Because I know the closing ratio got a lot less. But then it changed back, and I was like, well, let me just leave it and see what happens. And now we're killing it. Now the phones are very hot, and we're doing a great job there. So let's give it up for ourselves again for our best month ever. All right, and then today I want to talk about a couple things here, okay? You are here. Okay, so we're going to talk about pretty much everything that has to do with your work, job, finances here. Okay, so you're here, you kind of know how much you're making right now, how much is in the bank, how much you're making a year, and all that. And what I want you guys to take a moment here and do is think about, in a year, where you want to be. So take your time here and think about, how much you're making, how much in your saving account, how much in your checking account, and, what you drive, whatever your motivation is as far as finances goes, think about where you guys want to be in a year. It's really important for us to do this exercise because a lot of times people just go through the motions, and every single year there's no target. They just go through the same year over and over again. It's just like, okay, another year. Oh man, this year freaking fast. And then they just go through the same motions, and there's just really no target. Okay, so I just want you guys to kind of think, okay, what is it? Like 50K, a month you're riding, and then you have, no debt, whatever, you got a new car. Just think about where you want to be in a year. Everybody has their goals or target for next year? Yeah? Okay. All right, once you do that now, here we're going to think about from here to get to here to here. The most important question here is going to be not how, but why. Well, first of all, anybody want to share where you're going to be next year?
Well, I would want to hit, so like right now, I would want to like 50K, 60K, and bump up my income, and then get my life license.
There you go. Perfect. Okay. I love that, Diana, and thank you for sharing yours. Okay, because now you have a target, and now you know where you want to go. And that's so important in life, where people just go through the motions and they just don't even have a target. They just go through the motions and do the basics, and they wonder why they didn't get to a bigger place because you didn't even specify where your destination is. So having those clear targets is going to be important. Now let's talk about why you want to get there.
Money.
Why do you want to make money?
Because, I like to provide my daughter with certain things, and I want to, give her more.
I love that.
Yeah, she already gets a lot.
Mm-hmm. Let's get up for Diana. Let's get up for Diana right there. I love it. Why do you want to provide more for Camila?
Because she deserves it.
There you go. Why do you think she deserves it?
You met her, Danny.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
I want to do everything.
Yeah. So understanding your why is so important, guys, because here to here is not going to be easy, okay, at all times. So you always have to go back to your why and think, why am I doing this for? Okay, for me, there's a lot of whys. Okay, for me, it's my kids, definite whys. I want them to be proud of me. Okay, I want my spouse to be proud of me. I want my parents to be proud of me. I want you guys to be able to make money. And I want you guys to reach your goals. And I have a lot of responsibility, not only because of my family, but your guys' and your families. There's just a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of why, the people that kind of I don't want to say count on me, but that I have to be at a high performance. So whenever I'm not feeling like waking up early or doing some certain things that I don't want to do because of work, I'll just go back to my why and it just keeps me going. Okay, so having that why is so important. Just remember, go back to your why. Anytime you're like not feeling it that day or you kind of lose track. But first thing first, I'm glad we did this exercise first because getting this is the first step. Understanding your why is the second step. And the next step is going to be how. Okay, so you got to strategize. Okay, how am I going to get there? Anyone want to share what your strategy is to get where you want to be next year?
Well, yeah, number one would be show up,
There you go. Yeah.
And then work hard, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And, do the best you can for your customers so that you can get, some of those referrals.
There you go. Let's get it for Jason. That's kind of a very simple but effective, and I guarantee you if everybody does that will get you to where you want to be. Okay? Come in here every single day, go hard for your clients, and then keep learning and asking for referrals and be trainable. I mean, these are just things that even though people don't even think about because they don't have this and they don't have this, so they don't even get the how. So you got to work this way to get the how. All right? So my how, is going to be getting you guys more leads. I want you guys to get more referrals for you guys. We're moving to a bigger office. I want to get more people licensed. Have a system I'm building out just different systems all the time with Keep and just learning different things and just providing you guys as much activity as possible and having people here that are really motivated and ready to take massive actions for their families. I have a whole bunch of hows, but that's the only reason I have all these hows is because I have my why. And the only reason I have my why is because I know where I want to be. Great. So, you can do this with your personal life too, not just finances, but, what type of relationships you want, what type of health, and understand why and how. Those are great. This is a great exercise to get where you want to be in a lot of different areas in your life. But today, I just want to make sure you guys good here. You guys all have your target. You guys all have your why. You guys all have your how. Thank you, Diana and Jason, for sharing. A lot of you guys are very shy, but you guys have it because I want you guys to know, maybe even write it down later on. Okay? Who you're doing this for, how you're going to do it. Okay? All right, great. So let's get into the winners from last month. We have a lot of things to really give recognition for. Best attendance goes to Jaylene and America at both 101%. Let's get up to them. Last month was a brutal month for us when it comes to attendance. So I'm so grateful for them. And that's something that I really value because there were some days there where it just got crazy as far as just amount of work required. And it wouldn't have been unreasonable for them to be tired or because somebody else is missing work, I'm going to miss work. But for them to be here 101% of the time, it just shows their commitment level and how strong their whys are. So great job to both of them. Most payments goes to Linda with 158. She took 158 payments, which is an agency record. The second time in a month she's done that. One thing I'll tell you guys about Linda is that she is always on the phone. And I mean the work phone too. But yeah, just a lot of days of like taking 15 payments, closing deals for a lot of people, Saturdays, things like that. It really adds up. So yeah, great effort and production from Linda. Most phone calls, this is crazy because how could you be here for a whole month and be tied with the exact same number? But that's exactly what happened with 1,118. Let's give it up, Flora and Jazz. Yeah. you guys keeping track of each other?
No.
Okay. Most phone hours, this is also an agency record, so it makes sense that we're breaking records when we have our best month ever. But 54 hours, the most ever anyone's been on the phone, is give it up for America. So attendance and phone hours, and we had a lot of high phone numbers. Back in the days, we had nobody in the 50s. Now we have like 3 people in the 50s. You had like 45, you're number 1. Now we have like a bunch of people in their 40s. So it just shows activity level, but someone who's leading the way. Because yeah, sales numbers are so important. We had our best month numbers sales-wise, but just being here and doing customer service, because a lot of those 54 hours, where a lot of it was customer service, because I hear her all the time. So that's something that is just as valuable as what we do as a team. So I really want to give her acknowledgement of just a great month again that she had. We got somebody with the highest closing ratio in this room at 35%. Who we got here? Jason. Let's get up for Jason. One thing I want to share with you guys about Jason, okay, is that his willingness to be coached. Okay, everybody has the different stages in their career where there's sometimes I'm trying to tell them something, but I could kind of feel they don't want to hear it. But Jason is somebody I could say, hey, that was just straight up wrong, and he'll be like looking at me and like really focused and be like, thank you, and he'll apply it. Okay, and that's just something that's a great sign of progress because the humility and lack of ego to be trained is something that really goes far in business, and I think that's the number one indicator of him keep getting better. But this, just the closing ratio results are great. I say, hey, ask for referrals every time. He does it. Hey, ask for life insurance. Talk about life insurance like this. He does it. And it just makes me feel so good that because I want to train. My intent is for you guys to reach your goals and make more money. So I'm not out here telling you guys to do stuff because, I have insecurities. I just want to feel like I have a power trip. Like I'm not one of those type of managers. I just want you guys to really do better. And sometimes someone who really accepts it and shows progress is something that makes me feel like, oh, my job is worthwhile and I'm doing a good job and I'm helping people make more money. So thank you for that. So let's get up for Jason again. And then we have 6 agents with their best month ever. Okay, so let's get up for Laura. We're going to get into Laura a little bit more, but Laura, 109,000. Unbelievable. Jasmine was 78,000. Jason, 43,000. Let's go for Jason again. And then Jaylene at 39,000. Amazing. I think one thing I could say about Jaylene is that just like anything else from when we started, from where she is now, from having really, really low phone conversations and hours. And I think one of the things we were talking about, maybe in reviews and stuff like that, hey, we got to, teach you how to sell homes now, and renters, and we got to get, we got to move on from the Bristol West. But now she's one of the leaders in selling homes. So it's great progress there. Taking the late shift plus working Saturdays. It ended up being 958 calls and 51 hours on the phone from Jaylene from where she came with. So it's really proud to see her 39 and close to getting 40. So let's get up for Jaylene. And then we also have another person with their best month ever is America again at 36,000. And then Judith at 10K. Let's get up to Judith. With Judith, I also want to acknowledge her for being someone that, proved to us that she, because there was a situation there where there's some disciplinary actions for people, doing the wrong things. And maybe I thought maybe she could end up with that group, but she has proven me wrong. Okay, well, I didn't doubt you. Sorry. But, you got licensed, and now you're writing 10K, and now you're going to do more. So I just love, because sometimes when you have disciplinary actions, you don't know how people are going to take it. And some people, because of maybe their ego or depending on their personality, they go different ways. And sometimes when you're, work with people and not close to them, or you kind of are surrounded with them, you get influenced by them, and you kind of do things very similar to them. So you're right there in the mix there when people were getting in trouble, and actually Judah got disciplined too, but her reaction to that is what shows me that she's a fighter, and she has more to prove, and her progress is something I'm really, really happy to see. Going into our top sales agents, our third place finisher is Blanca with 47,000. Let's get up for Blanca. Give you a little camera time. Congratulations.
Getting like a certificate.
Now, Blanca did that, with 54% attendance. So one thing I just want to share with you that we have no doubts that, what her skill level and her capability is. But, just to give you guys context of how, amazing, I guess you could say, to get to 47,000 with 54% attendance is that if it was 100% she was here, the pace she was on, the ratio that's 87,000 that, what she produced. So when she was here, those are some crazy weeks that she had of crazy production. So we have no doubts of her sales ability, and just wishing her and Matthew nothing but the best as far as health is concerned, so we could have these bigger numbers moving on forward. So let's get up again for Blanca. All right, and the second place finisher goes to Jasmine again with their best month ever at 78,000. Let's get it up here, Jazz. Want to say something?
No.
All right, so Jazz, this is her second time hitting 75K. She's averaging 63K. That's $7,400 in commission, $2,800 in base. So that's a 10K month for her, $62 per hour. And let's give it up for her for closing escrow and buying a house. You know, one of the things I want to share with you guys is that literally everybody I talk to, even if I don't hire them, I always do an interview and I say, hey, what's your goals and stuff like that. And 100% of the time, everybody says that. They want to buy a house. It's so easy to say, but to act like you really want to is a completely different thing. You got to have energy, which Jazz obviously has. You got to have stamina because it takes time to bring that energy for a long time. And it also requires you to have great relationships with family and spouse, you know, because you're not doing this yourself. So shout out to Israel. So there's just so many factors and variables that determine if you're able to accomplish that goal or not. It's a family thing, and I just want to say that what the market is in Southern California and with the competition, living in the best place in the whole world, it's not easy to buy a house. So for her to do it, it just proves to us that something that we already know, that she's a true winner. So let's give it up again for Jasmine for accomplishing that. But yeah, okay, so first place finisher. Okay, this is going to be crazy here. Laura, over 100K for the first time, best month ever at 109,000. Let's get up for Laura. Big. Man, I just want to share with you guys, how long has she been here? 10 years. So she started at 2012, okay? 1, 2, 3. When she first hit her 25K, it was July of 2014. And she started July of 2014, so it was exactly 2 years, which is about average. You know, she didn't come here with a license. You know, she didn't get licensed. She got licensed around, you know, here, and then she started writing policies, and she's hit her first 25K 2014, so it took her 2 years. Now, when she hit her 50K, it was December of 2018. So between here and here, that's 4.5 years. And I just want to share with you guys that this is where a lot of people don't make it here. Okay, to get to 50K, and it wasn't easy for her. This is a lot of grinding for 4.5 years of getting 25, 30, 35, 40, and it wasn't easy for her to get to 50K. And then when she got to 75K, January 2021, it wasn't even that long ago, a year and 8 months. Okay, and she got to 100K just right now. A lot of times people think when you get success, it just is a straight line. A lot of it is like this. You get me? It takes a while to build the momentum up. And that's where people just struggle, and they don't have the persistency or the patience to get to this level where you pay your dues for 5 years to get to 50K. And then now, because she paid all her dues and her expertise and the knowledge she's gained, it's so much easier for her to get going higher and higher. Because do you think it will take her 4.5 years to get another 25 to get to 125K?
No.
She might do it this month. So that's how success really works, is when you comply all these hard work, it starts getting a lot easier, guys. But a lot of times when people get here, they're like, maybe I can't do this, and they fall off, and it's like, I'm going to become a nurse now, or like whatever they want to do, you know, like something that's just like makes them give up. Whereas if you just stick it long enough for 10 years and you focus in and you are committed to where you want to be every year, then it gets a lot easier. Okay, so she made 10K in commission. Add that to her base of $2,500. She made $12,500 last month. You average it out to how many hours she worked. It's $92 per hour. Let's get up for Laura. Unbelievable. All right, and then we have the first ever Hustle Award here, like I promised we'll have. And I'm going to give you guys some nominees. Nominee number 1 is Jaylene, because she had 101% attendance. She's first in phone. That's first. Phone call, she's fourth, and then phone hours, she's third. Okay, so great month for Jaylene, like you talked about. And then Jasmine is another nominee. She's 98% attendance, which is third behind America and Jaylene. First in phone calls, and then fifth in phone hours. And then the third nominee is America with 101% attendance, which is first, phone calls, which is third, and then phone hours, which is first. So I went off the stats, okay, just to let you guys know, I'm doing this fairly. But the first ever Hustle Award of the month goes to America.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Let's not forget it was her best month ever too. And meaning this is her 6 months in a row. And I went back to some of these people's stats when people first got their license. Okay, 6 months in a row is the longest anyone has had their best month ever in a row. Okay, so again, consistency, like Jason said, just being here, helping out your clients, being coachable. Sometimes it's really you just have to wait for the timing for things to pile up. But getting to 36,000 is incredible in 6 months. So first ever Hustle Award, we'll do this every month for now. It stays at America's Desk. So let's get up for her again. All right, cool. So let's talk about attendance, all right? So attendance we're going to have to talk about here because as 466 was great, the only reason I feel like we could get to 500 is because our attendance was terrible. It was the worst ever. It was 82%. We have 14 people here. And again, because I'm such a math whiz, I could calculate that on average, 2.3 people miss a day. And these were not vacations. Some months are like that. These were call-outs, getting sick, and stuff like that. So that's an area that we need to work on to improve. So I want to go over how we can improve them. Anybody have any ideas? Health. It just comes down to that. Okay, so we're going to talk about a little bit about health. But a couple other things that I want to talk to you guys about is, number one is one thing that will help you guys with attendance. What has helped me is understanding the opportunity. Okay, last month I said, this very moment is the moment we can make more money than we ever had in our whole careers. And that's true. Okay, the commission checks is $43,000 I'm paying out in 1 month. And that doesn't include the base. That doesn't include everybody's role because some of you guys haven't even finished your roles. So we're going to add to that probably today. Paying $43,000 out. Okay, there's other businesses right now like real estate, I would have to say, that is not in a good situation right now. And we live in a place where we could make money. Like we could be at a third world country. I'm not sure if you guys been to one, but there's areas in the world when the third world country that it does not matter what time you wake up. It does not matter how great of an attitude you have, how well you get along with your boss. It does not matter how hard you work. You're not going to have the opportunity you have here. And not only you live in a country that gives you opportunity, you work in an industry that's in a great situation. And, you're in a job that has opportunity because, I don't know, I'm not sure where you guys last worked, but, where you guys, if you go back to your previous job, was there anybody making $10,000 there?
No.
The boss that.
We have real life example of somebody that you could talk to and mimic, literally like copy what two of them making $10,000 an hour and see what they've done and what they do on a daily basis and just copy them. You could do that, okay? And then, there's other jobs where literally you could be there for 5 freaking years and be on your best behavior, never miss work, and you'll get a raise and you'll get assistant manager, you'll make $25 an hour. This is not that type of job, and once you understand that we have an opportunity, that's when you actually value it more, and when you understand it more, you appreciate it more, and then you'll take advantage of it more. So I just want to show you guys what the opportunity is, because once you understand that, then you really go harder than you are maybe right now. Okay, and number 2 is accountability. Okay, and this is something that maybe not sound great to say, but I hate the term. It is what it is. I just don't have a good immune system. My kid doesn't have a good immune system. It is what it is. Because when you say that, there's just no control. Because maybe your excuses are true. Maybe that is true. But once you say that, nothing changes. But once you take accountability and say, hey, it's actually my fault, then you're going to find ways to improve. I was going through my phone. And you know how it's like Instagram stories like shows you like what you posted like 4 years ago? It was my face. I was like, I can't believe I posted this. But it was huge. I always say, but I can't believe I was doing it back then. So I actually sent it to my wife. And I was like, look, I got stung by a bee today. And she's like, oh my God, what happened? I was like, that was my face back then. Back then, 2018, I was having some gout issues, which is inflammation in my knees. And I literally would miss work because I couldn't get in my car because I couldn't bend it and I was in so much pain. And I could have just said, hey, it is what it is. This is genetics. It's my ancestors' fault. I could have just said, it's not my fault and blamed something else. But what I did was I looked in my mirror and I lost 30 pounds since then. My waist size was a 34. Now I'm a 30. And I made some changes that you guys wouldn't believe. First of all, I don't drink anymore. Who could do that? Because I knew that drinking is bad for gout because of inflammation. So that was a sacrifice I made. Another thing I gave up was basketball, which is my childhood love. I loved playing basketball, but it was too hard on my joints. And whenever I played basketball, that's when my joint inflammation got worse. So I gave that up. That was very difficult for me. I gave up fried food. I gave up sugar because of inflammation. I have ice cream once a year when I'm in Hawaii with my family. And I love freaking ice cream. So I'm just telling you guys that when you take accountability, you make changes to yourself. And when you make changes to yourself, when you make improvements to yourself. So there's going to be different ways that you guys will maybe want to think about, hey, I got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I got to make improvements here because of my future. And these are hard conversations you have to have with yourself. But the hard conversation you have to have with yourself is when you really show yourself the most respect. Because you guys have friends and family members that you know you're messing up, but they don't want to tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But some family members and some friends will actually tell you even though it hurts your feelings because they actually love you. That's how you need to be to yourself because you love yourself. You got to tell yourself, hey, you're messing up right here and I need to get better at this. And that's how you make improvements in different areas in your life. So take accountability, have responsibility. I feel so much responsibility. The only reason I did that is because I feel responsible for my family. I didn't want my kids to think I'm a fat guy going to like these picnics and like, you know, they're like not even proud of your dad and they don't think they're cool and stuff like that, and just like, you know, and just being hurt all the time and not being able to run around with them and then be in a bad mood because I'm in pain because I come to work and then now you guys are making less money and now your guys' family are hurting because of what because I want to, you know, I don't know. You know, just drink and gamble all the time. So these are the type of things that once you take responsibility, accountability, and, you know, doing it at least for yourself, but if not, for the people around you. All right, cool. So understand opportunity, take accountability, and those are the ways I like to see our attendance go up. So to close out this meeting here, I want to talk about, just like we talked about with Laura, okay, I want to share with you guys how to get where you want to get here. The great thing about this world is that there's so many successful people out there. Tons of them. And you could research them. And so this one company did. They researched all the successful people, mega successful people, and they found out what are the patterns, what are they all like. Because it wasn't all the same. Like, it wasn't like they all woke up early. Some of them actually stayed up late and worked at night. Some of them, they were like, oh, they all don't drink like soda. And some of them did. There's like so many different variables, right? But they narrowed it down to these 3 characteristics that made all of them where they are right now. So I'm going to share with you guys those 3 so you guys could work on these 3 categories, because I think it's just easier. Just like while we have Laura here, we could just copy her. We could look at other successful people and see, oh, that's how they did it. That's what they're like, and just mimic them, and we're going to see success ourselves. So this is going to be a hard one, but you guys want to take some guess to what these characteristics were, these successful people that, not these successful people, all successful people had these 3 main characteristics. Persistence.
The exercise?
They exercise, yeah. That actually wasn't in them, but I bet they do. But it wasn't in there. They're a little bit more broader ones, so I'll start with the first one, okay? But persistence is so important. That it really is. And then exercise is so important too, Jason. I totally believe in that. And we'll talk about those 2 things too, actually, because it's part of these 3 things. Okay, one of them is that they have a superiority complex. Do you guys know what that means?
They think they're better.
They think that they're better.
At the same time.
Yeah. Thank you guys for bringing the participation. They think they're better. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or bad thing, but that's just what the statistics showed. Okay, they just believe that they're better than the average person, and they just, maybe that's how their parents raised them by telling them that, or maybe it's DNA. But all these successful people all thought they were better than everybody. They're highly competitive. They did not want to lose to other people, and they just thought that they're better than everybody. They deserve more, and that's just what they believed in. They don't want to be like everybody else. Like, average people want to be like everybody else. Even if they're wrong, they'd rather be wrong with everybody else than be right by themselves. So the successful people, they don't want to be like everybody else. They want to be better than everybody else. Like, when I was first started my business, it was a office smaller than this, but I was an agency owner. I didn't have my own office, and I came in. There was other agency owners there. This is where new agency owners started, and they were like, okay, on Fridays after lunch, we don't work. I was like, well, go ahead. Like, I don't want to be like you guys. I want to be better than you guys. Like, obviously, you guys don't have the work ethic, because I want to be writing a bunch of policies. And what do you guys go home after Fridays? Like, I don't want to be in your crew. Like, you know, go ahead. And that's something that's really important, guys, because you have to believe that you're better than everybody. And the worst excuse is everybody else does it. That's the worst excuse. Sometimes I'm like, hey, you need to get on the phones more, or hey, you need to be on time, or hey, you need to work less, get your attendance up, or you should. And when people say like, well, this person doesn't come to work, or this person doesn't answer the phone, it's like, what does that got to do with you? You want to think that you're better than somebody and not be like everybody else, like Judith did when everybody else around her was acting a certain way. She probably thought she's better than that, and she knew she was better than that, so she didn't act like everybody else. And that's so important because self-belief is really where it all starts. Anybody need help in that category? I love it. I do look for that when I look for you guys. When I go through this interview process, I do look for people that believe in themselves and could speak up for themselves and could have that confidence. And I just want to share with you guys, okay, if you guys do have a little bit of, everybody can have more self-belief, so I want to give you guys 2 tips. Okay, if you ever catch yourself doubting yourself, or if you're not sure, these are 2 tips that will help you have more believe that you're better than everybody. Okay, 1 is keeping promises to yourself. Okay, when you keep promises to yourself, you're going to believe in yourself. Meaning, I said I'm going to work out today, I did that. That's a promise to yourself. Okay, I'm going to persist in something, I'm going to not give up till I do it, and you do it. That's something that you kept a promise. I'm going to get my license. I'm going to hit 50K. I'm not going to miss work this month. These are promises that you make to yourself, and it's so much more important than the reputation other people have of you is the reputation you have of yourself. And once you have history of keeping promises to yourself, you're going to be believing yourself, because next time you tell yourself something, yeah, I'm going to do that because I did everything else. Now, once you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, then you're going to, next time you make a goal, you're going to be like, oh man, you're just full of shit. Just like the other goal you had. So keeping promises, once you have this target and you do it, those are great ways to make yourself believe in yourself more. And number 2 is you got to start winning. Very similar, but once you start winning, then you have experience of that. So you know that you have prior history, and that's where having experience helps. When you're getting older kind of houses, that you have history that, hey, I went through that was difficult, but I did that. And you're going to have history, and you can go back to things when things don't go right to know that you could do it. So if you're not winning, you got to start winning as soon as possible, because once you start winning, that's just like Laura's confidence goes up and up. At a certain point, it's going to keep going up because you stacked all these wins, these little wins, and you're going to make yourself believe in yourself so much more than if you're don't have a target and you're just going flat your whole career. Okay? So that's what all they had. And number 2, what they had, okay, it's kind of opposite of this. What do you guys think?
Humility?
Humility, yeah. But
That doesn't make sense. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. How do they think they're better than others, and then they humble themselves?
Because
Yeah.
they check themselves, probably. They're probably like, oh wait, I'm good, but...
that's exactly it. It's crazy. It's such a contradiction, but they have a fear that they're inferior. Isn't that crazy? It's the exact opposite, right? Mm-hmm. But they have that. And Laura will tell you all the time, I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to go backwards. A lot of what drives her is like security. Like, I want to make sure I'm good. And I have that. Like, I literally think, like, if I don't come to work, things are going to fall out. Everything's going to go wrong here. Someone's going to do something, and one of you guys is going to get in a fight, or like someone of you guys is going to break the rule, and then farmer's going to find out, and they're going to fire all of us.
Oh my God, Dad.
Like, I go there. Okay? But that fear, I'm not sure if it's healthy, but I'll tell you guys a story too. Okay, I was having dinner because I came home a little bit early, and they had late soccer practice. The kids did, and I was having dinner, and they came home, and the kids were like, "Hey, Dada," and I was like, "Hey," and like, "How's your day?" They were like, "Great," and they were like, "Hey," Derek was like, "Hey, Kyle, what's 2 times 4?" And Kyle was like, "8," and Derek was like, "Oh, good job, you got it right," and then they high five each other, and then they went upstairs, and then Risa came down, and I was like, well, you guys are having a great day. They're getting along well. And she told me on the way home from soccer practice, they were calling each other names. They're punching each other. And it was just freaking a mess inside the car. And Risa said, you guys better watch out, because once you get home, I'll tell Dada, and you guys are going to be in big trouble. So it was literally an act. I was like, these kids are freaking great. I kind of was a little suspicious. Like, this is too good to be true. Like, when are they freaking like high-fiving each other and doing math together? Like, this is not normal behavior. But I guess the fear of me getting mad at them is what drove them into a good behavior. So a little bit of fear is actually good, okay? And having these fear is what's going to actually prevent you from going backwards. And one of the things that Laura says, which is crazy, she says it, I'm like, oh, are you sure about that? But she says, I know I'm replaceable. And that just shows, like, you know, and when she misses work, she'll send me pictures at the hospital and stuff like that. Like, Laura, I believe you, okay? We've been through this for 10 years, and she's sending me pictures. She's like, I'm so sorry. She generally cares that if I'm, like, upset or something like that, that she worries about that. And it's kind of crazy because of where she's at, but she still has this fear, and I still have that. And I get that. That's why I'm, like, checking guys' mouths and all that stuff, and I'm just always worried about things happening and not getting overly confident, because you guys will maybe have seen people who believe they're better, but they have no fear and they start acting a certain way and they go backwards. It's crazy. They think they're better, but they don't think they're better, so they still they keep working hard and act accordingly as if things will go bad. All right, and number 3 was an interesting one. And this totally makes sense. This is what kind of keeps you focused, okay? And it's called impulse control. This is what all the successful people had. What does that mean?
Like control, like what you want to do in the moment.
Yep. What are some examples?
I don't know, maybe like if, for example, you get upset at an employee and like at that very moment you're upset and your impulse is to be like, hey, this and that, but you know, impulse control, you kind of control yourself and you say it in a different way. Impulse control.
Are you saying I need to do that?
No.
I think you want to.
You are by saying that?
Huh? No.
Say that.
No. I think I've gone so far with impulse control. And some of the things I talked to you guys about is that. Like, you know, I really like Lambos and I could buy 4 of them probably right now, but I just don't.
I want it.
I just don't think that's a good financial decision because maybe I have the fear.
That's true. Yeah, that's
What are my shoes?
Shoes? Okay. I can't control my impulses.
I have impulse control. Jazz doesn't have impulse control.
Depends on what it is.
It depends on what it is. But I'm thinking, okay, $400 sneakers.
So I'm like, I can have that.
Yeah. I think it's better than other stuff that I have impulses for, like gambling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a waste of money.
You know, that's something I had to control. I didn't talk about one of the other things I sacrificed because gambling made me have less quality sleep because I was thinking about it, and I was actually losing sleep because I was in the casinos for too late. So that's a good one. Drinking, okay, and just all these things, you know, like what are some others you guys have, like shopping, right? Sometimes emotional, like that's a great example there, you know, where maybe I get heated, but whenever you guys make the biggest mistakes in your lives, it's usually because you got too emotional. And these successful people don't make these mistakes. They got their feelings hurt, but maybe they're like, okay, well, let me sit back and look at think this through logically and be in a calm state and make decisions that's better for the overall well-being for my team and my family and my business and for a professional career. And maybe we've seen that in the past where people didn't have impulse control. Maybe they got their feelings hurt, and I'm like, fucking out of here. And I'm like, okay. And then just emotionally being able to control yourself is so important. This is an example of how not having impulse control hurt me. So this is also real recent because I got my car fixed, right? It took me freaking how many months? I think like 5 months to get my car fixed. And then we went out to dinner and we were listening to DJ Khaled and we were all like having a good time. And then the kids got out because our garage is a little tight, but we're still kind of listening to music. And then Derek turned around at me and he started dancing at me like, right? And I was like, yeah. And I started pointing at him and I was like driving in, you know, because my impulses was to dance. And then I hit my bumper on the side of the freaking garage.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't your car beep though?
It does. It's like beep, 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 beep. I'm like, and then we both looked at each other like, uh-oh. This has nothing to do with it, but it was kind of funny where we went inside. I was like blaming myself. I was like, it's not your fault, Derek. It's like completely my fault. I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry about anything. But then Rita was like, you should have like not. Why are you like dancing there? Where he's gonna drive in. It's like dangerous and all that stuff. And he was going through his Pokemon collection. He was pulling out all his good cards.
Oh.
Right now, I was like, he was like, Dad, you can sell these. I was like, no, it's okay. So I'm teaching him to be a nice person. So I was glad to see that. But basically, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, okay, the superiority complex is what's going to help you go this way. Okay, the fear of being inferior is going to prevent you from going this way too much, and the impulse control is what's going to help you stay the course. Because so many people can't control the impulse control, and I sometimes feel this way too, like, oh, I'm going to start another business. I could do everything. You know, I want to do this. And then you just want to think like you want to go all over the place where you don't know where you want to be, and then you just cannot focus on something too long, just like Laura did for 4.5 years, being at 25K and not hitting 50K. The impulse control is what's going to keep you focused and go in the right direction, because that's part of being successful, is a persistency, like Diana said, is to keep going after it, keep going after it, keep going after it, not giving up, and keeping yourself focused, because there's a lot of times people didn't hit 25K and they're like, oh, I want to be a nurse, or I want to do this and I want to do that. And then they just didn't have the ability to control themselves for long enough periods of time to actually reach the level that you could be successful at. So what areas do you guys feel like you guys need a little bit of work on?
I'll say 3.
3? Okay. You know, when your friends call you out on Monday night and say, hey, let's go party, you're going to be like, woo.
Nobody parties on Monday nights.
Okay. But yeah, I just want to share with you guys, because my goal is to have you guys, more of you guys, reach where you guys want to be next year financially. So believe, okay, you guys wouldn't be here. I wouldn't hire you guys if I didn't believe you guys were better than the other candidates. Okay, do know that bad things could happen according to your actions, so you do want to have a healthy fear. And then control your impulses when sometimes you get emotional, or sometimes you're like, oh, okay, other people are missing work, let me just enjoy a day. I'm sure that's not happening, but other things that could maybe hurt your career, control those by having control, okay, and having emotional stability. So those are the things I want to share with you guys, because again, like I said to you guys, my goal is to have you guys' goals come true. I'm just trying my best to help you guys do that. So when you guys walk out of this conference room, just commit to this. That's why we went over this first. Commit to this, have this target, and have the desire and commit to that, because you guys deserve it, and so does your family. All right? Thank you guys.